something we just sold.
It's not something you do every year.
Well, it was part of the grandkids' inheritance. I can tell you that.
Thanks, Grandpa.
I'm gonna get me a bumper sticker.
Would have all gone to taxes anyway.
Yeah.
So great. You have a lot of experience, a lot of things that you are willing to share with us. Some things you are unwilling to share with us. But
Very
most
true.
importantly, you were paying attention to gardening out there.
I
and-
was. And what I was so amazed to see is they're similar latitudes as to what we have.
Mhm.
And Normandy is a lot wetter country than the south of France, obviously. It's more like Tillamook Valley for 400 miles.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Primary things are farming. They are cattle. They grow acres and acres and acres of corn just for the cattle.
Oh, so that they don't have to get it from us.
Right? No. So yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot and confirmed a lot.
Well, great. I can't wait to get in. Let's talk about the weather that was out there, because you said that you were blessed by just gobs of wonderful weather while you were out there.
Oh, we just got absolutely stupid lucky.
Yeah.
When we were in Paris, it was like 70 degrees, and we'd spend 6 hours a day out walking and museum, hunting and that kind of stuff.
And how long were you in Paris?
2 weeks.
2 weeks in Paris.
Yeah, and they have.
Shacked up in somebody else's house that you're paying for.
Yeah.
And just right there is the Eiffel Tower spitting at you when
Yeah.
you look out the window.
Yeah, look out the window and you can see what color it is now.
Yeah.
Like 2 blocks south of the Seine River. It was 3 blocks to the subway station, so we just ran around town like we knew what the heck we were doing.
But was it humid? It's humid there.
No,
But
it
wasn't
was
humid for
absolutely
you.
no. It was 45% humidity. It was it's the level that I function real well. Absolutely, bluebird skies. Light cloudiness, that kind of stuff. Just a really super great fall.
Yeah, and
2 weeks.
And while you were gone, that we were enjoying that when you left.
Yeah.
And then it came. The rains came.
Well, that's what happened when we left. They were having the leftovers of some stupid hurricane that had come through the Atlantic and finally got to Europe and was going to just expletive deleted all over them.
Yeah, tough. There was a tornado. Did you hear about the tornado?
Yeah,
That-
up in Longview.
in Longview, yes.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. It was an F1. I don't want to make light of anything, but I did grow up in Colorado. We got
Yeah.
the plains. We got Tornado Alley.
Yeah, you get
And
3s and 4s out
It's
there all the time.
essentially it's a dust devil. It's a very
A very large one.
dust devil. Yes.
Ruins about 6 roofs and 2 cars, and it gets national TV.
Right, not picking up any cars, picking up trampolines. I saw a trampoline was picked up and then destroyed a roof. But
Oh, ick.
yeah. But yeah, so that's the weather. We're in a flux right now.
Yeah,
We've
it's
got a lot of
fall.
warm, we've got a
It's
lot of
fall.
cold out there, and so we've got the rains. And I was telling you, I just need a nice little 4-hour period to get in the garden today, and then the rains can come again.
I got one yesterday and tidied up everything. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a much smaller area than you do too.
Yes.
But no, I actually went over to Northwest Greenlands and got a yard and a half of compost and buried everything 6 inches deep.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I'm done. Whacked everything off to about 4 inches high and buried it till I couldn't see it.
So I got still flowers. My tomatoes.
No, I
The
just-
little ground gardener's delight tomatoes. They have had flowers on them for about 10 days, like the exact same.
Oh, come on, man, that'd
flowers.
be a mercy kill. You let them give up.
Like, they're bright, like the bees are like going back and forth. They're like, no, I've been here already.
No. Yeah, they fly up and go, yeah, and it's
Hello. But they're still pristine looking, but they
I
haven't
know.
changed. They haven't done anything. It's incredible. And it's because the plants have slowed down. We're getting the soil temperature down
Yeah,
around
so
50
it's-
degrees.
Yep.
And the plants are shutting down because the stomata on the leaves, it's they're getting clogged with rain. So the plant isn't working, but it's not dying just yet because it's able to live off of its reserves. But
Well, the viney maple's red,
yeah.
so yeah, it's done.
Mm.
And we were supposed to get a freeze here next week or so, but I don't know if that's going to happening.
Oh my gosh.
But we can talk about the windstorm that's coming.
There's a windstorm coming?
Yeah. Is that in the news?
Oh yeah, let's talk about the windstorm.
Yeah, 35 to 40 mile an hour winds. This is going to be the one that blows the oak leaves off.
Is this
And
tonight?
it's right on schedule
This
for
is tonight. This is
yeah, tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight and Tuesday.
I always get scared.
Well,
We've
you'll
got
have
these
you'll
big
have
windstorms because I've got such tall trees in such close proximity.
well, for people in town, you'll have Monday, which is supposed to be a beautiful day, to rake the leaves to be ready for Tuesday. So you'll only have to do it twice this year.
So that's an important tip because you will have one day, otherwise those
Yeah.
leaves are going to get soggy, soaking, worse to deal with.
Yeah, it's about 1 o'clock Monday afternoon after they've dried out a little bit. You'll have a
Yeah.
3-hour period to clean up the mess.
You got to pull out the leaf blower.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of leaf blowers out right now for some of the weaker deciduals, but oak leaves and sweet gum leaves, that's the one I hated.
The sweet gum leaves?
Yeah, they don't fall until after the Rose Bowl.
Ah,
They picked the rainiest, windiest January storm to come off.
I see.
Yeah, anyway. So, folks, hunker down here for a couple of days. Don't worry about doing anything out in the garden too much.
Unless you unless you enjoy the mud, but there really is a whole heck of a lot. I mean, just pay attention to where those pools are gathering, and you might want to deal with them at a later time.
Yeah, look at your garden and see how it's doing, seeing how the drainage is doing. Start thinking about what you don't want to do next year, that type of stuff. Which plants were just didn't do what you wanted them to do, and it's okay to let them go away and get something different.
Yeah, and last week's show, I had the wife in here, and we were building terrariums, and that's the kind of things that that this week was made for, is making terrariums.
Bulbs are on sale in places.
Bulbs are on sale.
Yeah.
I almost didn't understand. There was a blah, blah, blah.
Here, let me take a shot of tea and see if I can get my tongue off the roof
Yeah.
of my mouth.
Yeah, that's another good point, is the planning that goes involved into the gardening, because you've already taken care of you've made sure that the pruners are in, all of the shovels are in, and the answer for me is no, because in my head right now I have 3 shovels laying in the garden, just on the ground, just sitting there, and they've been there for about a week, 2 weeks.
Well, I did take my own advice and I sharpened my tools,
Yeah,
which turned out to be a really smart idea.
awesome.
Surprise.
Because you needed to use them.
Yeah, I needed to divide some hostas and chop off some things, and some things just plain went away. I'm tired of them. And that stupid lilac put up a 2-foot shoot while I was gone.
Oh.
I thought I
know-
hooked a chain to that sucker in a 4-wheel drive and pulled her out. Snap, pop.
Yeah, I've got problems with lilacs. I've got one that is halfway dying, just only half of it is, and then I've got one that isn't growing where I want it to, and so I've got to transplant it because the wife loves the lilac.
Well, this one was supposed to be a double white petal French lilac. Stink like a Nordstrom's counter.
Oh yeah, those
one of
things
those the
stink.
neighbors can smell.
Yes.
And in 5 years, it never put out a blossom.
See, that's the thing. You've got to wait for those.
How long?
Wow, years.
Long years?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let the 2 twigs go.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing. Maybe I don't want to wait years, right? Put something else in there. Take Ray's own advice.
Yeah, we could do that. I did learn things that lasted the longest over there. We went to Monet's garden.
Monet in France.
Monet in France at Giverny. Giverny.
Oh, wait. You almost had the accent. The first time you had the accent,
Giverny.
it was as though you were speaking with the French a lot.
I got pretty good at bonsoir.
Bonsoir. That's how they love to hear it. That's the French-Canadian accent.
One of the friends who was traveling with us had a really cute, dark French kind of a gargle laugh. I won't do it on the air.
No.
That'll
Probably hard to replicate.
Well, without making a mess. But yeah, the stuff that they had over there, like the zinnias and the dahlias and the marigolds, it's the same stuff we grow here.
Same colors.
Same colors,
cultivars.
echinacea, all the really cool perennials.
I think they've been gardening longer over there than
About
we have.
600 years
Yeah,
longer.
yeah.
Yeah, they've taken compost to a degree we won't get to in our
Not,
lifetime.
not even at the Northwest Greenlands?
Uh,
Are they doing it in bulk, or are they just
well,
doing
they've just
it
been
in
doing
the
it for
back?
600 years. They're a
Oh, no,
little ahead
that's
of
right.
us.
No, they're composting the same thing over and over. They've had the tree that died
Yeah,
600
yeah.
years ago that they composted, and then that was put down on another tree, and those leaves were composted in, and they're just like constantly composting the same thing because they have no land for expansion. They don't
No.
have new things to
No,
compost.
you can't get past. You can't take out a hedgerow anymore.
Oh my gosh.
No, they're there, and they're like 10 feet wide, and build up on berms, and
Mhm.
they square off everybody's property lines for the whole frickin' country.
Wow. So they stay.
Every county has the same thing. They're amazing.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, they don't really have much fence
Mm.
other than the stone fences,
No. Yeah.
but
There's resources.
yeah, they don't have barbed wire and chicken wire and stuff like that.
Electric fences.
Cedar fences, not so much.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a 6-foot cedar fence over here.
Mm-hmm. Because we have cedar.
Over there, they have a 6-foot stone wall 2 feet deep.
The great grandpa built.
Oh, it's been there since the 11th century, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Even in towns, they have little farms in towns where the town built up around the farm,
Mhm.
and they still got the chickens and the cows, and they bring the hay in by tractor on these little single-lane roads down through town.
It's medieval.
It is.
It's and you can't take that stuff down because of its historical value, so it's kind of hard to put up newer things.
Yeah, our apartment that we rented was in a standard modern apartment complex that there was about 6 of them in one hotel in this one little corner of this area in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere else, the buildings are like 7 stories high, period,
That's it.
because they've been there since 1919 and
At
before.
least, and before.
And
Yeah.
before.
Not too much bombing done in there.
But it was kind of cool because we really did. We looked right down on the river,
Mm-hmm.
and about 6 blocks over is where we caught the boat, and you could see the whole north side of Paris out of our sliding windows,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go around past the swimming pool, look out the windows on the other side of the building, you got the south half of Paris.
Yeah, it sounds like you got really lucky with that place.
Yeah, we really did. It was about half the cost of a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the internet is a great thing. So let's
Yep.
take a
Let's take a little break.
I'm going to take a break.
Yep.
You take one with me. Right now you're listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM. Where's my VNC? VNC. Yeah, so I was going to talk about comparative the zones. There.
That's the one we want. Yeah.
We're in the process of replacing the lighting here with LED lighting, so that it's a lot. And all 3 of those are LEDs.
Oh, for crying out. They look like regular light bulbs.
No stereo. No stereo.
Huh.
Yeah, they're brighter than those ones.
Yeah, they really are.
You can tell as you turn it down, because they say, yeah, they're brighter with less electricity. They're more efficient.
For the exact same
Yeah.
zone. Is that manually? No, this is the hardiness zone, so where plants can grow. It's pretty similar to ours.
Well, the exact same plants as what we grow here is what they're growing. And a lot of geraniums. Geraniums, because the flower pots hanging on the apartment buildings are all hanging geraniums. especially those little pink ones like we sell at the plant fair. They're every frickin' where. Little flower boxes, about so tall, but so long. And just, you look, that's cool. Once in a while you see somebody who goes hog nuts and has trees on their patio.
Would you live there for a longer period of time than
If I had the money, yeah, I would. Pretty convenient.
Were they accepting of Americans?
We had a ball. I never saw. On Saturday, I went to.
We're back.
Okay, I'll tell you the story later.
Is that you?
Yeah, it's okay. It's automatic.
Okay. The mouse selections are automatic?
Yeah.
I'll
I'll tell you later.
And you are tuned right here to KLYC 1260 AM, to The Root of It, the weekly gardening show for local Yamhill County. Hello, Ray.
Yeah, he's back.
And he's back, and he's back. It's 9:20 right now, and we've been talking about your vacation to France. I keep saying Europe, but it wasn't Europe. It was just
no.
France.
We didn't do Europe by any stretch of the imagination. We did a strip about 50 kilometers in radius,
Mm-hmm.
plus the river trip. And that
Yeah.
was, and then you get like 2 or 3 kilometers off the boat. It's as far as you get. Well, that's as far as you had to go to, like Richard III's castle.
Because they didn't have automobiles back when these things were built.
Nah.
So you had to make it a little closer, a little bit easier to get to.
Oh, well, I had a really strong admiration for bus drivers when we got done.
Yeah?
These guys, and I mean, tourism is a major income besides the farming and stuff all over the world. And these buses are like 38, 40-foot buses. On roads, they're like 12 feet wide.
Yeah.
Now, how they pass gracefully is really a little sketchy. Sometimes you don't want to have a window seat because you can read the other lady's laptop as you go by.
And what's so weird about that, and I've been in the same situation, is I don't necessarily have confidence in the bus driver, but sure, they've done this a lot, and
Yeah,
this is how they
yeah.
drive, and I didn't see them get into an accident, so I have to have faith that they won't be getting into an accident. But yeah, it's almost reckless, and at the very least, careless.
Well, it doesn't. Over there, everybody's required to have a driver's license, just like we are here in the United States. But with all the brouhaha about Oregon license plates stuff, over there, if you're driving something that's under like 30 horsepower, you don't have to have a driver's license.
Oh, wow.
Really, at all.
It's a Vespa.
Yeah, it's like moped-powered cars.
Mhm.
Because they get 80, 90 miles a gallon.
Oh, man, those little
We
things.
can't even buy them over
Right,
here.
right.
But they can park 3 cars in the same length of a Sequoia.
Right.
You know, that type
So
of
you
thing.
don't have to have a license for
No.
that. Yeah, incredible.
They look almost like go-karts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the similar, yeah.
Like a Cushman or,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, or whatever, Lawn Boys.
Mhm.
What's that other one? Yeah, the green ones. Like they have over here at the golf course.
Oh.
Only they have total bubbles on them. They're run on propane. They have propane heaters. They're licensed. Got lights.
Wow.
Um,
Sounds
Eh.
different than what we have.
oh, way different. I did not see one single pickup, even out in the farmland. Out
was-
there, you got
I was
small
going to
trucks.
mention pickups because you roll in a pickup.
Yeah,
in a very-
no
in a-
no Tundras, no F-150s, nothing.
No F nothing.
No F's, nothing. Mercedes pickups.
Right, Mercedes. Like, could you imagine all of their moving vans or
They're all
anything like that? Mercedes, everything.
Mercedes or Peugeot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few Peugeot vans
Mm-hmm.
because I was looking specifically for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they just don't have them.
Right.
Because A, the roads are small, and B, if they're out in the farmland, it's distinct enough from the city to where the pickups don't come into town. They bring their little Mercedes van with their produce into the farmer's market by the Eiffel Tower, but they don't use a pickup.
Did you farmers market out there?
Yeah.
Did you? Yes.
Oh yeah, we did. We farmers marketed because, like I say, we were living in an apartment, so we brought food in and cooked some of our meals in.
You didn't eat all the time out.
No,
Wow.
no. We did breakfasts and things, snacky things, sandwiches. So you need tomatoes. They got the weirdest tomatoes I ever saw in my life. I'll send you a picture of one of them later. And they're big as our beefsteak, but
Did it have like boils and like scabs?
it looked like a
or-
pumpkin.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, no. It's lobed just
Mhm.
like a pumpkin.
Oh wow.
But great taste in maters. Oh, lordy. Again, just like us, and we were going to talk about hardiness zones.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. We've got the hardiness zone map in there. Pretty much everything looks like it's a 7 over there.
Yeah,
8?
which is what we are.
Right. Everything.
You know,
we
in
have.
variations. They have 7A, B, and C.
And
Yeah.
the hardiness zone for the uninitiated is just it's a scale of where plants grow and how long the growing season is.
And it's a distinct line about the average very low temperature.
Mm.
So hardiness refers to the health of the plant and its ability to live in the environment that it is.
Yeah, the lower the number, the warmer the climate, right? Is that the way it is, or is it the
No,
backwards way?
it goes
It's
the other way.
around.
It goes
Right,
the other way.
yes,
The
thank
higher
you.
the number, the
I was
warmer the
confused. Right.
climate.
So we're in
The-
8. We're about in the middle.
Yeah, we're 7 to 8,
Mm-hmm.
which is why Yamhill County is so verdant. I
Mhm.
mean, it's amazing.
And they're the exact same thing over there.
Same hardiness zone.
Strange that we grow the same grapes.
Yeah.
Just though somebody picked up somebody drew a line with a latitude mark from France all the way around the yeah, Oregon. It's pretty
Yeah.
much the same thing.
Surprise.
Yeah. So the hardiness zones, they just get the colder. You've got the European map. I went over and I looked at Russia over there in Sweden.
Yeah, 5.
Right. I saw. Well, Russia has like a 3 or 2, and I don't think I'd ever seen that.
Yeah, I wouldn't grow there either.
All right.
No, I'm good down to about 6.
Yeah.
After that, I need
I need specific help. I need an
I need
enclosure
a-
that is temperature controlled.
I need a good train heater, air conditioner,
Yep. Yep.
and a fireplace.
Yep.
But no, and their perennials are the same as ours.
Mm.
Penstemons and black-eyed Susans and things like that are accent flowers. But because in Normandy they do have more rain than we do, and so their penstemons are like 4 feet high.
Nice.
And their black-eyed Susans are like 6 feet high.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they're just outrageous. They use them for backdrop flowers over there.
Oh, because they get higher.
Yeah, small trees.
Their echinacea are 8 feet tall.
Yeah, it's astounding. And
Were there a lot of flower boxes? I mean, because you're downtown, were you noticing a lot of like, or even like you go to an urban environment, they've got those little community gardens or the parks that are right there.
well, you got 13 million people living in an area the size of Washington County,
Yeah.
and so apartments and condos are
so horrible.
is the way of life.
Yeah.
It just is.
Mhm.
And there's hundreds of flower boxes
Hmm.
every block
Yeah.
because that's what they do. And it seems to be the go-to flower is like a hanging geranium, where we use other things, bacopa and things like that.
Mhm.
Their go-to is geraniums. And there's some geranium baskets, I knew that the suckers couldn't be more than a meter long.
See, you're in the meters now.
I'm okay with
Well, it's a little less than a yard.
little it's 9 inches longer than a yard, dude.
Good, thanks.
No. 3 inches. It's 39 inches.
Don't trust us for these
Uh.
measurements. It's different than a yard, is basically.
Yeah, these are not certified measurements by OSU Ag. I can tell you that.
Thanks.
No, not so much.
So they're.
But they're
long.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Point being, they're just everywhere and extremely well fertilized, I would say.
Well, what I wanted to talk about were I was reading an article in a British newspaper, and they were talking about sweet peas, and those are those small little fragrant flowers, And now is the time that they're told to go ahead and plant them, put them in the soil. If you're in an enclosure, you keep them in kind of an enclosure, but they're putting them in soil now. And here, I went on the OSU website, and they say spring is the time to plant those. And so it's like a difference between over there and over here.
One thing I noticed was they do use a lot of small greenhouses.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these can be a couple hundred years old. They're just cute as a button.
Nice.
They were just put together with glass shortly after it was invented, I think. But also a lot of art, like we talk about the hoop houses,
Mhm.
the raised bed with the white plastic pipe and just a bunch of plastic over it.
Mhm.
Lots of those.
Oh, nice.
Families are very into growing their own greens all winter long because
Mhm.
food's expensive.
Sure.
So they do supplement their own diets with hoop houses, especially out in the country if it's a long ways to the town,
Mhm.
you know. Oh, yeah, anyway. But lots of these little hoop houses.
And you were saying about the sweet peas. They plant them they're planting them right now, because then over there they're getting longer, and it's just
Yeah.
the tradition that they've had.
It's a go-to standard basket filler
Mm.
in a lot of places. And it's kind of cool because, I mean, yeah, we have our hanging geraniums and stuff like that, which, you know, may or may not have some kind of scent. Over there, you walk past a basket, and you get that sweet pea aroma. You know, for like 10 feet around it, you can smell these puppies.
Yeah, it's different.
It's really cute.
Maybe it's because you're
It's just-
you're downtown, or you're in this urban environment, and they've got trash on the sidewalk. That just, not just bags of trash, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you smell sweet peas. Smells really great.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing I was a little disappointed in was litter.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have so many people in a small environment, not everybody's tidy.
Mm-hmm.
But every morning it'll start out tidy because the street crews come through at night.
Mm.
And so in the morning it's tidy. By in the afternoon, not so much
No,
again.
every major city that I've been to all across the world has this problem, and
Yeah, it just,
and it's really horrible. I remember in New York, they really do. You can have like a 5-foot tall pile of garbage bags, black tied garbage bags, and 10 feet wide, just sitting out,
just sitting there.
sitting.
Yeah,
It's-
sitting and stinking.
Right, and oh my gosh, China, that's a whole different world. That trash, they don't
Yeah.
have bags. There's no bags. They just put it in a pile there.
Yeah,
But-
just dump the bucket.
But thank goodness for those
Yeah.
hanging baskets, because the wafting that you get
Yeah.
when you walk by them, it's a breath of fresh air.
We went to this one little community called Fontainebleau, and they're city street corners. All of their dividing areas, they're because the roundabouts are really popular,
Mhm.
even in the middle of towns, and all the roundabouts have these gigantic flower gardens that are just
Because otherwise it would be nothing. It would
yeah,
just
it'd just be more concrete and granite,
yeah.
limestone, whatever. But yeah, that's one thing that really impressed me.
They're making use of the spare space that they have. So let's take a break right now, because I'm thinking that we can get into some questions that I found on the OSU Ask an Expert
Yep.
website, kind of pertinent right now, one of them kind of odd. But right now you're listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM. The red potatoes brought you in on this, Ray.
Well, having had to scrub that stuff off,
Edible.
totally edible. Yeah, you can peel them, you can scrub it. It rubs off pretty good if you got one of them green.
But that doesn't look like close to the soil problem. That looks like fungus. No, fungus would be rotten. That looks
Does it say anything about when I complained about it? Doris Crimmins and Pam Dowling told me to put sulfur in when I put the seed in, sulfur dust. and we didn't have it the next year.
And you are tuned right here to KOIC 1260 AM. I am Kyle. That is Ray.
Yo,
And
I'm
this-
here.
Yo, came out of nowhere. This is To the Root of It, your weekly gardening show. And we are back talking to Ray, who has been away. But nevertheless, we are part of the OSU Extension Services. Ray and I, we are Yamhill County Master Gardeners. And as such, we're volunteers for the Extension office in McMinnville, which is located at 2050 Lafayette Avenue. And so as one of our duties that we do, we answer questions from the public about their gardening issues, their agriculture issues. That's what the Extension Service is for. And on the OSU website, which is extension.oregonstate.edu, there is an Ask an Expert column. So every once in a while we'll bring in some of these questions, and one of these questions was, what is wrong with my red potatoes? The Yukon Golds from the same soil were perfect, and this person sent in a picture of what looks like this warded out red potatoes, just a bunch of them. And it's not just, it doesn't look like just
No,
a
they look
scab. They're raised up and they're bumpy and they're pretty hideous looking.
No, they really do. They look like they're covered with pencil erasers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's walnuts.
Yeah, they look-
they could be walnuts. So anyway,
They
so
look scary.
so scab is a common problem.
Yeah.
And scab usually happens when the soil is dry, and so the potato skin is is getting dried out, and it affects the growth of it from there. But yeah, are you still looking at the picture? I'm looking at you looking down at this
Yeah,
picture.
I'm
It's
going, man,
mesmerizing,
that's
right?
just an ugly tater.
Right. Yeah, you've never
A whole
seen
clut-
anything
no,
like it.
I really haven't.
So one of the ways that this is caused, and I know that I've done this before, which is if you let the soil dry out in between waterings, so that you get dry soil. This is what happens. So that was my problem. You left in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Maybe don't water the potatoes for 3 or 4 weekdays.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and then you water them again. It's not good enough because it's taken those time for these scabs to get out. But the good news is, scabs won't hurt you.
No,
Scabs don't cause illness.
but there's a bunch of reasons why it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And these relate to your general gardening practices. If you let especially in areas where they have really alkaline soils,
Like Central Oregon.
like Central Oregon, or if you haven't, you put too much lime in your potato patch,
Ah, yes.
will help contribute to something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because potatoes like a more acid soil, and they like damp but not wet. And if you over water, that helps wash out your alkaline.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Your sulfur, your
Yeah,
calcium.
washes the sulfur and calcium out of
Yeah.
the soil. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
get to. So that's the situation. It's perfect for the ripening of the virus that causes the scab.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to kind of keep attention to that particular part of your garden. You don't want it to get too alkaline.
Right. And yeah, so that's what caught my eye was that potato. So that was basically the information that was given to this person that sent in their question. That person was actually located in Crook County in Oregon, and I'm baffled by it. It's a walnut-looking potato.
I've had that problem on potatoes up here.
I've had light scabbing, but it's because the potatoes were surface area, so they
Yeah.
were exposed to the sun. They were getting baked in the sun. They
Yeah.
got sunburn. So I got another question that came in from the Ask an Expert, which is, can you can orange juice? And somebody wants to can their orange juice. Okay, you got a whole bunch of oranges.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and be able to save it.
You got a good sale on oranges on your way home from Disneyland or
Right.
something?
Exactly. Exactly. You found a broken down
Yeah.
truck of oranges and you absconded with them. So anyway, actually you can orange juice, and you can also can grapefruit juice. And so what you do is you heat the juice to 195 degrees, so that's pasteurization, and then you put it into jars and process pints and quarts for 15 minutes in a boiling water canner. So you're just canning it.
Yeah, just like regular canning beans.
Right, and one of the things, the caveats for doing this, though, is that it might separate after this process is done. So I guess you might have a little like plasma separation.
All the water goes. Well, I mean, even if you mix up orange juice and you put it in the refrigerator,
Mhm.
and nobody drinks it for like 3 days,
Mhm.
you know, you got that 2 inches of water, 2 cans of water, and all the pulp sinks to the bottom.
Right, exactly.
But you shake it up; it's still orange juice.
Hmm. So yes.
Yes, you can.
Can you can oranges? Yes, you
Yes,
absolutely
you-
can. I don't know why you would want to, but
Well, these are things that I bet you could find out if you went to the extension office and asked them, because they have canning classes.
they do have canning classes. And extension.oregonstate.edu/Yamhill. That's the Yamhill County Extension
Yeah.
office site. Their phone number, I always go to you for it.
503 435
Mhm.
7150.
7150.
I got a pic-
Extension.oregonstate.edu/Yamhill.
Yeah, that's better.
I drove by you, didn't I, this week as you were going into the extension office. You were going there for a class, right?
Yeah, that's another great service that you get from Extension is classes, and they're announced in the News Register most of the time.
Mhm.
If somebody remembers to call the News Register and get it in.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
But what was this class for?
This one was landscape planning.
I missed it.
It was how to completely reconvert or reorganize your garden.
That's what I need to do.
Not so much. Well, if you got too much lawn, what to do with it?
Mhm.
A good part of the session was on how to arrange plants for really shady areas.
Okay.
The use of rocks and things for, natural substances for decor and lining paths and.
Yeah,
Oh.
it really is one of those classes that I needed to attend, but
Yeah.
I could not attend at all, and it was really rough. I had the kids all week.
Well, it was taught by a lady who had a degree in it.
Oh, that's what she does.
Yeah, several, in fact. She knows way more about organizing grass than I ever want to know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Um,
but
so-
it was really a cool class.
Yeah.
And of course, it cost $10, but the potluck was worth that.
Always talking about the food, right?
Oh man, there's a whole good reason to be a master gardener.
Yeah. Let's take another break real quick so that we can get some more time in. I want to talk more about your European tour, which was just France. I just gotta stop calling it Europe. Europe's
No,
much
no.
bigger. That's like
Yeah, no. We spot toured.
Okay, so for right now, you're listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM.
You need another spot?
Oh, do we not have?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's going to the restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I'm giving you another 60-second ad.
Oh no,
Catch your breath.
we're good. Give me a chance to tee up here.
swimming pool in that greenhouse.
Oh, for crying out, oh, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
That's gorgeous, though.
30 seconds.
Just half. What do you want to talk about?
Let's go back to greenhouses for a little bit. And grocery stores.
And you're tuned right here to KLYC 1260 AM, to The Root of It, your weekly gardening show. We're back, Ray. We had briefly been talking about the greenhouses that are required to grow those sweet peas and to keep those enclosures in. You're saying that they were really, really prevalent there.
There was a lot of mass production. You get just shortly out of town, and there'd be several hectares. That's like 2 or 3 acres
Mhm.
of greenhouses that would be all a single produce, like all tomatoes.
Oh.
Because apparently pizza's a big thing over there.
Tomato in general is a
Yeah.
big thing. I think they eat them raw, maybe in a salad.
Yeah, but they grow all of these kinds of varieties of tomatoes in these giant greenhouses. I don't know if they're hydroponics or nothing. I couldn't get the bus driver to stop.
Wait.
Well,
a
I
minute.
reached for the button and Leslie slapped the back of my hand. and said, we can't do that.
Yeah, okay. You and I,
Yeah,
we'll
it's-
go and
it's-
we'll look at the
yeah,
tomato
it's
houses.
it's not on the schedule. You can't go there, Ray.
Yeah.
But and that's a lot of that goes into the markets and these little farmers markets that are everywhere, and pretty much year round on a particular day. Because they do have winter crops that they grow all winter, and you can get fresh rutabagas in December.
Yeah.
You know, they eat a lot of really fresh root crop as well. Like we were talking about potatoes, there's whole fields of potatoes that they're on their second crop.
Oh wow. Because
They-
it's the same thing as us. We can do
Same
a second
thing.
crop. Yeah.
Yeah, we could if we, organized ourselves just right. There are things you can get two of.
Yeah.
But that was one thing that surprised me, that a lot of the stuff really is fresh and is grown right, just outside of town.
So staying at in an apartment,
Right.
So you're making your own meals. Also, you go to the grocery store. Were you finding that they're importing a lot of food? Like, does a lot of their produce come from Chile or some exotic countries?
Well, no, a lot of it
They're
comes
more seasonal geared.
from the Mediterranean
Mhm.
farming areas in
Oh,
southern
yeah.
France, central Italy,
Spain.
Spain, Israel when it's not at war.
Mm-hmm.
Morocco has citrus products.
Because
yeah,
France was once the dominant country.
Well, yeah, they
and,
were.
so they have all of these former colonies, countries that they have access to.
Well, they have an intertrade group over there, just like we have NAFTA and things like that. Business trade situations where there is a lot of importing, but it's closer.
Mhm.
We import ours from 10,000 miles away.
Right.
They import theirs from like 500 miles away.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
What I really liked were the small neighborhood stores where there would be a deli store, then a meat market, then a vegetable store, and then a general food and commodities market
Mhm.
where you get your milk and ice cream. But they're all like little minute marts.
Yeah, they're right next to each other.
Yeah, there'll be a row on this block, and then 3 blocks away there'd be another row of them, and then like 5 blocks away there'd be an actual grocery store.
Access to delis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got a different kind of display case out there. We eat the same animals, but they seem to prepare them a little differently out there. But it all looks edible. Like for me, they they don't have their meat in the plastic bags that they come with.
No.
They have it
No,
drying
it's-
out.
it's more
right there.
fresh.
Yeah, it's drying out right there.
Every little meat market has a chicken barbecue,
Oh,
or not barbecue,
Rotisserie.
rotisserie.
I see.
You know, and they'll be out loading these puppies up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then the business people just kind of go down that block and load up for groceries on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
So they get home with a nice hot chicken, and them suckers are gone by 7 o'clock.
I was like, Costco?
Yeah, yeah, and you can smell them. Oh man, it's the neatest smell.
Yeah.
Don't go down one of them streets hungry.
No.
No,
Well, that's the other thing is there's food on every corner, basically, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
pretty much all within walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you got in McMinnville. From my house, I got to drive either 2 miles to Winco or 1 mile and a half down to Albertson Safeway Roth's.
Right.
You know, they're all. It's a or unless I go right into the center of town. Most of the stores are about the size of Harvest Fresh.
Yeah. See, that's a good size.
Yeah.
Harvest Fresh has got it down, right?
Except there would be a Harvest Fresh on 2nd Street out by the school too.
Because you have 13 million people to
Yeah.
support, so there's
Yeah.
enough Harvest Fresh space to go
Yeah,
around.
really cool little stores.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's it.
That was the tour. No, I want to hear about the boat. I mean, the story about the boat was funny because you said that there was a newlywed couple there.
Well, it's
So why don't you set that up?
Yeah.
So you're leaving Paris and you're going to take a boat to Normandy because that's how
Right.
you get to Normandy is by boat. And apparently that's how Americans get to Normandy one way or another, whether it's the 1940s
yeah, boat or bus.
or whether it's now. That's how you get there. So
Yeah.
there was a newlywed couple, right?
Yeah, there was 109 passengers on this boat.
Mm-hmm.
So it is pretty much personal service, and crew of about 30. And 107 of them were, let's say, mature individuals, my own age group,
Generational,
generational.
comparatively to you, yes.
And then there was one 30-year-old couple that obviously got bought the trip by their dad for a wedding present. And they were, they were fun people if you could get them off in a corner and talk to them. But
yeah.
they pretty much were scared to death. It was like they were looking at their future. And it was
Yeah, that's what was funny to me is it's like, okay, how many older couples are here on this boat? And everybody
Yeah,
raises
yeah,
except
yeah.
for them. And it's like, okay, how many had been married before the person that you are with? And I would be kind of curious to see what kind of pull that would be like.
I would say there was a couple of brides that were obviously number two or three.
2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like newlyweds. Congratulations.
Yeah.
This could be it. This could be the peak right here for you.
Yeah. Save your pennies and you can come back.
So when you're on this boat, it's what was that like? How long were you on the boat for?
Well, we were on the boat for a week.
A week.
And as with most cruise ships, food is a kind of a common denominator because you dine together all the time. Dinner or breakfast is at 6 to 8, and lunch is 12 to 2, and dinner is again 6 to 8.
Sounds delicious.
And then there's always little snacks sitting around, bowls of fresh fruit and stuff like that. And there's always coffee, tea, and included in the price were all refreshments.
Oh.
Yeah.
The wine. It was complimentary.
It was complimentary. From the area where we are at today, this is the
Yeah.
local wine.
That's nice.
And some of them, I understand, were pretty nummy.
Sounds like a libacious cruise. Except
And
it's
there
not a
was-
big, huge boat. I mean, it's
No,
a
no,
boat.
no, no.
It's like
No, you can't fall off it.
There's where the barbed wire was.
Yeah, that's what I noticed was to get up on top was a real process. There was only 2 ladders up.
And there were probably only 2 people capable of transferring
Yeah.
those ladders on,
Well,
on the
that-
boat.
Another thing I thought was really cute was they had one of those stairway elevator chairs from downstairs to upstairs.
Oh.
Yeah,
so
I'm
they
going to
were
get me one
prepared.
of them someday.
I believe in those. I just want them to go a little faster. I just never. From what I've seen, they're just a little too slow for me.
Oh, well.
But you see the person, like another person walking by, another walking by. Well, there's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, it does scoot up, and when it gets to the top, it takes its time to turn around and swivel out so it faces the hallway.
yeah,
And
we don't want to scare you.
But
You
if
can't
you're-
walk up the stairs. We don't want to scare you.
yeah, that was another thing. Les said I couldn't take a ride in it.
You've got better things to do with your time.
Well, not at that particular
You are
time. I was-
capable
I
of
was-
doing it. Take advantage of the moments when they're there.
I was done with the cross ride. I wanted a C-ticket ride. Yeah, I wanted to go to my future.
So when you did you come up to Normandy in a boat like you were a Marine?
Yeah. No. But you do get a really, really good sense of presence there and what the young men that
That's what I'm wondering
on
about.
D-Day
Because when you're
were up
there,
against.
it's like you can almost feel the ghosts. You can just see. But it was a nice day when you got there. It wasn't
Absolutely,
rainy,
Blueberg. You could see clear to England through the
those binocular.
yeah, the thing you put you
Yeah.
put a euro in and push the button, and then you can see England.
I tried to buy one of those for my garden. A couple of months ago, I was like, hey, I want to put
A
one
spotting
of those.
scope?
I want to put one of those that you have to put the money in. I want to put one of those in my garden. They're $3,000, $5,000 for a used one.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
one that's been stuck in a national park or worse, a California state park for years. That thing still costs so much because apparently they make a lot of money.
Yeah, they really do, and they're everywhere.
Mhm.
A euro is like $1.27 this
Mhm.
morning, I guess.
So you come up to Normandy, you get off the boat, you're going there. And the gardens, I mean, there's a cemetery and it's serene,
Yeah.
right?
Oh man, they take care of their small properties like that just amazingly. And another thing I discovered was yes, there's the Notre Dame of Paris that was started to be constructed in like the 9th century or something like that, 11th century before they actually put a roof on it.
Mm-hmm.
But every little town has a Notre Dame.
Yeah. It's like it's the way that things were done. You wanted to show your support for God, then you built
Right,
these
right.
huge, tall cathedrals. And
depending on which king was in power.
you weren't a town if you didn't have one. You
No.
know, you didn't have that lord, that congressman that brought the money in to
Yeah.
build these things for you.
And all these things were like 14th, 15th, 16th century
Mhm.
buildings. But it just surprised me that every town, it wasn't like this one was named St. Christopher and this one's named St. Elizabeth or anything like that. It's their Notre Dame. It's
Hmm.
like everybody has a Starbucks or something
Th- th-
after a while.
Well, that is interesting. There, it's just called Notre Dame.
Just called it Notre Dame.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's not Notre Dame number 2 or...
Of this town of
Yeah,
Avion.
no.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, that surprised me. Kind of a lack of creativity there on the church names.
Well, at one
Hey,
time
we gotta have one.
At one time, the church did have not at one time. The church had a lot of money and they had to spend it. It's like, you have your budget. If you don't spend it, then we're not going to send you more money. So, okay, well, let's figure out a 20-year project that we can pump money into. And
But there again, the gardens around them are maintained in such a way that it's a focal point.
don't you want to? That's the gospel I want to spread. Is the gardening?
Yeah, you wanted
is
to make it as...
the gardening of just everything lush. Take the time out of your day and just
Yeah.
sit there and trim.
Throw some
something.
seeds. That may be my new thing is when seeds go on sale, just buy a bunch of like marigold seeds and start being
Mhm.
Ray the marigold spreader.
Yeah, we would be Johnny Marigold seed.
Yeah,
And you will be.
something like that.
Yeah, that's and that is one of the things that I do notice about visiting over that way, is the
Everything-
gardens are really nice and they're really
Very
pristine.
colorful.
Yeah.
Everything's very colorful.
Mhm.
And I particularly enjoyed that. And that's part of what I came back re-inspired to totally reorganize my garden. And then I took that class, and
Mhm.
so yesterday I did it.
You're geeked out.
I did it. Wow. I got the new improved front
See, that's the other thing about
Sidewalk.
taking those classes, and even going to the Master Gardener events or gatherings for taking care of the greenhouses, is you do get re-inspired to take care of your own garden. I can only imagine what you're going through
Well,
right now.
there's only like less than 10 slots left in the Master Gardener class for January. So if anybody out there is thinking about it, they've got the little packets. It's going to be
So if you want to become a Yamhill County Master Gardener, the classes start in January.
Yep.
Registration has already begun. There are 10 slots available, and it goes from January until March, 1 day a week, Wednesday, and the class schedule is already out
Thursday.
and up. Well, thank you, Thursday.
yeah.
And then the information is available extension.oregonstate.edu/Yamhill. Call the extension office here in McMinnville, and yeah, classes start. Registration. I didn't realize it was coming down to that few spots.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good class, fun class. They're always fun. They're taught by Oregon State staff and representatives and people that work in the system, and it's a totally great opportunity to learn about gardening here in Yamhill County.
So next show, why don't we talk more about that? Because why don't we talk more about the class schedules and the classes that are
Yeah, we'll
available?
bring in a
because
copy
I'm
of it.
Sure. But for right now, we're going to leave.
Yep, we're going to go hang it up. I'm not even going to sharpen my tools this afternoon, but you keep your tools sharp.
You've already kept your tools sharp.
I
I
did-
cannot believe how ahead of it you are. Jeez, I feel like a slacker, and maybe now I am motivated by your success. Thank you, Ray.
Alrighty,
for-
but anyway, thank you all, folks, for listening to us this morning. It is rainy. It's not the day to really go out and work in your garden, but
do
think
something.
about it.
Yeah, okay. You were listening to The Root of It with Ray Van Bellericum, Kyle Hunter, and KLYC 1260 AM.
Boy, that was fast.
I didn't hit stop any of those times. That's what I had missed. Did I? I hit. Yeah. Fine in. Good. Right here? You right here?
I need more medication.
Let's do it.